Okay, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg. Because have you seen him lately? I mean, he's gone from this notoriously awkward CEO to what? A cage-fighting, gold chain-wearing action hero? It's a lot. So we're going to dig into this massive rebrand and try to figure out what is really going on here.
I mean, you've definitely noticed, right? Mark Zuckerberg just looks different. The whole awkward CEO in a hoodie vibe, the guy who was famous for his kind of robotic demeanor, yeah, that guy's been replaced by a jujitsu champ decked out in designer streetwear. You really can't miss it.
So what is up with this radical reinvention? Look, this is way more than just some midlife crisis. It really seems to be a super calculated strategy. So let's get into why this all happened, and maybe more importantly, what it actually means for all of us.
All right, first up, the rise of the robot CEO. To understand the new Zuck, we've got to look at how that old, negative public image really got cemented in the first place.
And this whole perception thing, it started really early on. You remember the 2010 movie, The Social Network, right? It painted this picture of him as this brilliant but frankly cold and ruthless founder. And look, whether that was fair or not, that image stuck for like over a decade.
Yeah, and his own public appearances definitely didn't help. Actually, they made it worse. Remember that bizarre, super stiff testimony he gave before Congress? It just completely reinforced this image, and oh my God, the memes it spawned. It just solidified this idea that this guy was, well, not quite human.
Okay, which brings us to our next section, a company in crisis. Because this wasn't just about him, it was about the scandals that forced his hand.
And man, did the crises pile up. It felt like each one was worse than the last. You had these horrific accusations of Facebook enabling genocide in Myanmar. Then the world-shaking Cambridge Analytica data scandal, where all our user data was basically harvested for political ads. It was just one thing after another.
But the real breaking point, that came in October 2021. A whistleblower, Frances Haugen, she came forward with all these internal documents. And they basically showed that the company knew about the harm it was causing, but chose profits over people's safety. After that, Zuckerberg became this global villain in the tech world.
So what do you do when you're at rock bottom? You launch the great rebranding strategy. This was the two-part plan to totally change the narrative. And the plan was actually pretty simple, at least on the surface. Step 1, rebrand the company. But when that completely failed to convince, well, anyone, he pivoted to step 2, rebrand the man himself. So, part 1, the company rebrand. Facebook becomes Meta. But you have to remember the timing here. This was announced the exact same month as those whistleblower leaks. So yeah, a lot of people saw it as this totally transparent, maybe even desperate attempt to distract all of us from the company's toxic past. Problem was, the metaverse itself was, well, it was a disaster. Just this clunky, empty wasteland that flopped, and I mean spectacularly. It lost the company over $10 billion and pretty much became a running joke online. So yeah, that rebrand, it was not working. So, time for another pivot. Starting in 2023, the focus shifted completely. It was all about a personal rebrand. All of a sudden, our feeds are full of his intense MMA training, his jiu-jitsu wins, this whole new, super confident persona. It was all designed to make him look tougher, more disciplined, and, kind of ironically, more human. This all leads to the big question, right? Is the new Zuck actually working? Let's take a look at how this new image might just be the perfect distraction from some very real, ongoing problems. And honestly, you can see how well the strategy is working just by looking at how we react to new controversies. Think back to Cambridge Analytica. That was global outrage, congressional hearings, the whole shebang. Now, fast forward to today. When new issues pop up, like Meta denying social media harms teens, the coverage is, well, it's pretty muted. It feels like the outrage machine has been turned way, way down. And this distraction, it is perfectly timed. Because right now, Meta is rolling out products with even deeper, even more complex privacy questions. And the big one on that list? The new Ray-Ban smart glasses. Now, the risk here is not hypothetical. It's very, very real. In fact, to prove it, some students at Harvard showed just how easily these glasses could be used to identify a complete stranger on the street, and then, within seconds, pull up their name, their address, their family members' names, even photos they had no idea were public. That is terrifying. Which brings us to our final section,
Image versus reality. After all this, has anything fundamental really changed?
Well, here's the thing. The fundamental business model, the engine that's creating so many of these problems in the first place, it's exactly the same. It's a system that thrives on division. It monetizes your attention. And yeah, it profits from keeping you not just engaged, but often enraged.
So at the end of the day, the gold chain and the jujitsu medals, they don't change the algorithm. While the CEO's appearance has done a complete 180, all the core issues, we're talking data harvesting, user privacy, the platform's impact on mental health and society, they're all still right there.
And that leaves us with the biggest question of all, doesn't it? He changed his image, for sure. This whole rebrand has been masterful, and it's absolutely changed how we see the man. But did he change the company? Ultimately, it's up to all of us to decide if we're going to let a new look and a tough guy persona distract us from the reality of the machine he built.